Hey guys, what's up? This is Panzer Dragon, and today we're going to be doing a video about patch 7.3 and the upcoming changes, such as Jace getting nerfed, Camille getting nerfed, and even Kha'Zix getting nerfed, a bunch of OP champions right now. So this patch is probably going to change the meta, and you might see some new top laners as well as junglers, just because some of the OPs are getting nerfed. And yeah, it's going to be a relatively short video, I think. I'm not sure. I think it might be, but also, if you want to drink some gamer supplements, try out Gamer Supps, which I will have a link in the description below. And at the checkout, you can use code PANTS to get 10% off. Anyways, with all that being said, let's get started. So the first champion we're going to be talking about is going to be Camille. She's getting a lot of nerfs, such as her Q bonus damage on the second hit is being lowered by 20%, her W slow is being lowered by 10, and her E's mana cost has been increased by 20, stun duration has been lowered by 0.25, and the attack speed now only applies if you hit a champion. Before, you can just dash towards the enemy champion and you'll get the bonus attack speed, so better land that E. So the nerf on her Q, probably necessary and only affects her true damage part, but this doesn't affect the Trinity Force proc. It's just the Q bonus damage, because what it said before was it doubled, now it's just like times it by 1.8 and that's how much damage it does. So just a little bit less damage, but I actually think she'll still be a good champion because your W slow it's only 10% and it's still at a really high number, and your E, the stun duration finally goes down. That's probably the most obnoxious thing about her, while the mana goes up by 20, and I'm not sure what people will max after this, because your Q gets nerfed as well as your E, and a majority of them max out Q, but some people max out E first. Maybe it's a matchup thing, I don't know, but I feel like she'll still be a meta top laner, maybe not permaban, but I could be wrong and all these little nerfs might add up. Next up, we're going to be talking about Ivern. So Daisy is getting a nerf, just the MR and armor. Apparently they were looking to nerf his E, but they have reverted that since then, and the only thing they nerfed was the armor and MR for Daisy, which makes her look to be super squishy. Like, it seems like to me she'll be useless in the late game because the AD carries will just kill her. But at the same time, this is so interesting to me because I think Ivern's really strong, since he can make his carries just be super overpowered and be unkillable and have infinite shields. And in my opinion, I feel like they should nerf his E in some way, and not Daisy. This just feels like she's just gonna get popped up in the late game and mid game. But I don't know, maybe he's not that OP. I know he's not OP in higher elo, just because he's not really a carry jungler, but I think he's just so good in like a competitive environment or even duo queue with someone who's really good. Next up is going to be Jace, and you can see he is getting cucked, and for very good reasons. First of all, I mean, he does his full combo on you, and you as an AD carry or someone squishy is probably going to die. Like, they're nerfing his melee form, his poke is still going to be good, but 30 less base damage on his Q, and 15% less on his bonus AD ratio from the transformation thing. Whew, that means he's not going to one-shot you as easily as before. He probably still can, but it's going to be a little bit harder. Also, mana cost increase on his E means he's going to have to be a little bit careful on using that in the laning phase, because it costs a little bit more, but that's about it. But overall, these are pretty small nerfs. I think he'll still be good because his, range form hasn't been nerfed, just as all-in potential has, got cucked a little bit. But who knows, I might be wrong, he might be garbage after this, probably not though. Next up is going to be Kha'Zix, and you can see the bonus AD ratio on his Q has been lowered by 20%, and the CD refund on his evolved Q has been lowered by 15%. So basically, if you have 100 AD, you'll be doing 20 damage less, which doesn't seem too much, but like, if the enemy is isolated, you actually do a little bit more damage, so your isolation bonus AD ratio goes down by about 30%. So if you have 100 AD, 30 less damage if the enemy is isolated, but also 15% less cooldown on your Q means his dealing potential goes down just a little bit, but also a bigger window for the enemy to respond when Kha'Zix jumps in and tries to two-shot you. Also, I just want to say, like, what the fuck were people thinking when that evolving E first was the best thing to do? Like, that just sounds so stupid to me, because Q gives you clear speeds plus OP dueling. Oh yeah, and his dueling will be a little bit less weaker, so careful for that. Will he be good? He was the #1 jungler in my opinion. So since these are small nerfs, I think he'll still be good, just, maybe not as good as someone like Hecarim, or Elise. Next up, LeBlanc's passive is getting a nerf. Oh, this is interesting. All the assassins are actually, toning down a little bit, I mean, Camille and Jace are basically assassins, let's be honest here. They one-shot people, and Camille was in the little Blood Moon assassin mode, which is actually coming out this patch. So yeah, it's interesting to see that they're nerfing the assassins, or people who can basically one-shot you. But anyways, LeBlanc's passive is basically being nerfed at the early levels, but once she gets over level 9, it starts racking up some damage. So yeah, her laning phase, shittier, but as the game goes on, she gets more powerful. But of course it is a nerf since her laning phase is pretty strong and one of her emphasis points, so it sucks for her. I don't think she is the best mid laner, but other mid laners who, you know, main mid lane say she is, so I think this was deserved because, you know, they think it. But if I didn't hear from them, I don't think it was needed. Next up is going to be Rengar, so this is pretty interesting to me. You know, me, a jungler, I don't think Rengar is super OP. I think he's really cheesy and shit, but like, yeah, sometimes I see him being banned, but some people don't even pick him up when he's open. I know a lot of other people think he's like OP and shit, but me, personally, I don't care about this champion. I think he's fine, but I guess other people think he's pretty OP. Either way, the dash range lowered by 50 units, I don't like it too much because the way you play Rengar right now, it'll mess some people up, you know? Makes that feeling of his Q a little bit wonky for people who have to get used to it again, so that kind of sucks. But also, the empowered W no longer prevents him from being CC'd after 1.5 seconds, although it can still break crowd control, but there's just no Olaf R part of it. And I think this is a really good change because that is like super annoying to deal with and something I just found obnoxious about his kit, but you know, I wanted some compensation for this nerf. And Thrill of the Hunt, alright, I think this was a little bit obnoxious because the duration was just too long and makes the enemy feel like they're gonna get shit on and in the moments of him being in his R, which lasted too long in my opinion. But again, there's no compensation bust for him, so that's why I'm not for this nerf at all unless there was some compensation bust. But yeah, I mean, after this nerf, he's probably going to be in the shitter and no one will play him again. Well, maybe they will. They didn't nerf his damage or cooldown, so those are the two things that are probably going to keep him in the game if people want to play him. Next up, we're going to be talking about Vi. So this is really interesting to me. Her attack speed has been lowered by 0.19, which in my opinion is kind of a little big nerf since her W gives attack speed, plus you start with attack speed quints. So that means her clear speeds are going to be a little bit worse, plus the movement speed going down by 5 always is something to look out for. Like, this will probably lower her win rate by 1.5%, and I think it was needed because she's dominating lower elo, not really too much in high elo, but like, yeah, she just shits on kids in lower elo, so I can see this nerf going through. But it also gives me less incentive to play her in high elo, so that's good because I don't like her. I just don't like her. She makes me pretty uncomfortable, so yeah, I'm happy for this. Next up, we're going to be talking about Vladimir. So you can see basic attack has been increased by 3. Ooh, that means last hitting is going to be easier. Ooh. And basically his Q has gotten some buffs. Base damage higher, AP ratio higher, although the double damage on his Q has been lowered, but I think it compensates for the extra base damage. I think. It doesn't matter because his Q still heals him and that's what he wants. He doesn't care too much about the damage, but as long as he can sustain in these team fights and, you know, survive, he's probably still going to be happy. Here's the thing though, Vladimir's win rate has been sitting at 44% on Champion GG for probably a long time. So this just seems like, you know, a kind of small buff. So I don't think it's enough to put him above like 50%, maybe like around 47 or 48, which was where people were using him still in high elo, and he was one of those permaban champions, so maybe he'll be a meta champion again. Next up, Zyra is getting some nerfs. So basically for her plants are getting, her plants won't auto-target champions who are just nearby the plants. Instead, she has to now hit the bitch with one of her spells and they'll target them. So in team fights, you know, you have your R and it basically hits everyone. So her plants won't be stupid and attack minions or something. But in the laning phase, oh boy. I think this nerf is pretty huge because you miss your Q, you miss your E, but those plants are still around, so they basically harass the enemy. But now you don't get that 70, 100 damage from the plants because you missed your skill shot. So yeah, alrighty then. Oh yeah, and the mana cost on her Q has been increased, so I think her win rate is going to be lowered by a ton. This seems like a huge nerf for her, and I don't think she'll be played anymore unless, you know, the plant's AI is not as stupid as I think it would be. But it seems like they're going to be pretty stupid and not attack the enemy that the person who owns Zyra wants it to hit. So goodbye Zyra, you're not meta anymore, maybe. And yeah. Okay, that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I guess it wasn't short at all, but oh well, I didn't realize how long it would be. But if you guys did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I am Pantsar Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time.